Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong, and I've been playing with those little fun packs that I listed yesterday. And I wanted to show you where I am with the one I have. I always try to keep one for myself. I haven't bound these pages in yet, but I did go through and pick some paper out for pages, and I'm gonna add some extra pages. Did I say extra? Extra pages to the packs to send out because I just think it's fun to have some paper to work with. And some of them are the book pages. Like, it had the beautiful image, but there were also text pages, so I'm just going to stick those in there. I cut the image. I didn't really do a great job fussy cutting. I mostly just got the shape and glued mine onto one of the other papers I'm using, because if I just folded it in half, it was going to be too close to, I wanted to get more of her face and hair and everything. So what have we got in here? All sorts of things. I thought I would turn the camera on while I put these in with just a simple three hole pamphlet stitch. And something I did that I don't always do, I put a lot of the trim and pockets on the pages prior to binding them in. Sometimes I put my pages in and then I work on them. You can do it either way. I do know that taking these papers individually to the sewing machine to sew trim on is a whole lot easier than taking the whole entire journal. But I can do both, and I do both. I forgot that was in there. Sometimes I just lay the stencil down. I think it took part of the plastic off. That's funny. Sometimes I lay the stencil down if it's got paint on it to try to get the shape. So let me see. Hopefully these. So that's where I used paint in the stencil, and then I laid it on another page to get the reverse effect. And I forgot it was in there. This is where I sewed two of the envelopes together. I just overlapped those and then cut the flaps so that they will open and give us little pocket spaces. I guess I could pull those down. Right now I'm just sort of lining up the pages. So yeah, let's go ahead and put these in. I still have not found my favorite awl. I'm so sad. I don't know. I keep thinking it'll turn up somewhere, or that it's right in front of me and I just can't see it. That's happened many times. So let me go ahead and try to poke through here. This is a huge bore awl compared to what I was using. It's sharp. It's harder to push through. Uh-oh. I got that out of line a little bit. And you just want to make sure you don't get your fingers. It's coming through. Ay, ay, ay. Not easy at all. Definitely miss my old awl. So I'm just double checking to make sure the holes are still lined up. And they are. I'm doing it this way because it's so much harder to go through all the layers at one time. And I think I have these lined up okay. Oh, I meant to tell you about the cover. Let's talk about that while I'm binding. And let's get a really large needle out. I used the quilt piece that was in the kit, and I did a cover that's one of my favorite types to do, which is to cut a file folder the same size as a piece of standard paper, 8.5 by 11. And I laid that between the quilt piece. I also put a piece of muslin between the quilt piece and the file folder that's under there, so that we don't see the file folder underneath the quilt piece. So the outside is 2 layers of fabric, and then we have the file folder that I cut and laid down on that. And then for the inside of mine, I used part of a really old baby quilt that I found at the thrift store. I can tell it's a baby quilt because I had one just like it. I still have it. My grandmother made it for me when I was a baby. It looks so similar to this, and you can see where somebody had cut off the quilted part. So I bought this and cleaned it up, knowing that I could use it for a journal cover. I don't have enough to put in all the packs. I wish I did, because I would do that if I had it. I just don't. But if you find something like that, like something quilted in a thrift store that you can use for that kind of thing, you know, you could just get it and have it on hand. I can tell it's going through that it just didn't grab those last 2 pages. Okay, came in from the outside because I want the strings to hang on the outside. And now let's see if I can line all these pages up again. I really missed that all. Okay, I got that through all the pages. And to get these somewhat lined up. You see, I don't have any paper clips or anything on here holding everything together, so, but I'm not worried about it. This is just sort of a simple binding method, and I can tell you the more you do it, the easier it gets. So I'm just going back through here to make that hole really obvious again. Might help if I try to hold all these pages flat instead of holding it folded like I was doing it before. And let's just push that back through. There, it went right through. One thing I like to do is to make sure I didn't pierce the cord that's already there. And we didn't, because it moves freely. Okay, now let's see if I can line all these up again. Go through just a few at a time. This is honestly just one of my favorite styles of journal to make. I don't fuss with anything too much. It's very eclectic. I end up doing a lot of different artwork and just writing quotes down, and it turns into kind of an everything. That one's off a little bit. We're gonna move that hole over, and I mean, if it leaves a bit of a hole in the fabric, I'm not too worried about it. I might have gone over too far. I think it's good for you to see stuff like this, just so you know it's not, you don't have to be so fussy that you quit enjoying what you're doing. I love how the plaid ended up looking on this, and we'll go through and look at some of the things here once we get it tied. I think I've got about 15 pages in here. Now what I'm going to do is try to adjust the cord so that, well, it's really close. I was going to say so that we have about the same amount. There, I adjusted it a tiny bit. And let's make sure everything's pulled tight. I don't want to pull it so tight that I rip things, but you want to make sure the pages aren't loose. So I tie one knot and then put a tiny drop of tacky glue, and let's pull it tight again, and I'll put my finger there. And you know what? It's okay with me if I get this tacky glue on my finger a little bit, because I put my finger right in it. That's okay. I just really want this to hold. You don't have to do this. I learned this because of jewelry making and making bracelets with the elastic cord, and using a tiny little drop of glue helps that knot not to slip. So I'm going to put one more little drop. This time when we tie it, I don't have to put my finger down because we've already got a double knot, or it's tied twice. I guess it's a knot. I don't know what it's called. So maybe a double knot is something different. I'm actually thinking about taking this, whoa. I think that actually touched my coffee. Maybe not. So I'm thinking about taking this really pretty velvet ribbon to make a tie. Of course, it's going to crinkle up these ruffles, but I don't know that I care about that. I just think I kind of think it's pretty. I don't know. I think the color is a nice complement, and it does give me a way to keep it closed. And what I would do is just sew here and here. So tell me what you think about that. So the cover, again, here's the quilt piece that we had. Underneath that, there's a piece of muslin. In between the muslin and this portion of an old baby blanket is a file folder. So I had 4 layers, and I just sewed all around. First, I sewed around the outer edge to keep it all together, and I did put very large paper clips all the way around to hold those 4 layers together. Then once I went around the edges, you can see where I just looped around all over the place. I came back and cut a heart shape out of that quilt piece that I had, the old baby blanket, and I used one of the fabrics that sort of had a tie-dye look to cut the heart shape. And I used a zigzag stitch to put that down. Here is a couple of little pieces of the plaids that I just twisted up to make a quick flower, and stitched a little V shape to hold it all together. So that's 2 layers. Here's one plaid, and then there's another plaid. And underneath all of that, I don't know, maybe you remember the piece of purple fabric that I had, and I said I didn't iron it because I wanted it to stay wrinkled. There's another part of it, I cut it in half, I just don't see it here. That's what that is, and that's one reason I wanted it wrinkled. It just felt so artsy to me. So I had sewed that onto the page, and then I glued this fabric flower on top. We're gonna use our beads to put on the cords here. I put a basting stitch in some of the different pieces of plaid, gathered it, and then came back and sewed these to the pages. So we have one here, and then one on, oh, there's the other piece. I ended up sewing it to the back. I forgot about that. So you can see that's already sewed down. I could take some more of the fabric and make a little flower. This is from a different pack, but it's on the disc. And what you do, I just start twisting and keep twisting around. You kind of hold the center until you get to the end, and then take it to your machine and do a little V stitch, and it'll hold it, like do this way, up that way, a couple of times to hold it. And then you end up with a pretty flower. And you can just glue it down or sew it on, and that's what that would look like. There's my birdsong stamp. I took part of that quilt piece that Kim sent me, and each pack has got a little bit of that. What was left over from cutting it down to make the cover, I sewed inside to make a pocket. Then I took some of the antique, the light pink velvet, or the vintage light pink velvet, and glued that onto the pocket. I just like to feel that, and I think it's really pretty. There's that hole there that we talked about. This is one of the cards. I sewed it onto a wallpaper page I have that's really slick. So I decided to put something over it, and you still get to see the pretty background. I glued one of the greeting cards to the front after cutting it down and tearing one of the edges. And this is just the alcohol pearls. I love to drop those onto things and give it that almost like a graffiti effect. So there's that first pocket. A lot of times I just like to layer things. There's a piece of scrapbook paper. I sewed some of the burlap onto that. I used some of the fabric to make a pocket. Here is another pocket. Here's another pocket that it's got this artsy design that I want to try to recreate on some of the pages. All the pieces of money, I glued those down sort of in a collage type fashion, and I like that. We may put an image on top of that. I could fussy cut the frog and put it on the money. So these cards, you can get creative with these. I'm not going to use this as a card. I'm going to use this part, recycle the other part. These are the sample cards, or they were the sample cards that had the fabric. I thought this part was interesting, so I cut that out, gave it a tag shape. Here's a pocket. So this is the basis for, I think, what's going to be a very fun junk journal. There's a lot of room to do art. There is room to write down quotes. I love to use journals to write quotes in, because you've got the beautiful background once you collage and do art and all that kind of thing. Then you've got a beautiful background to go back and write on top of it. Things that you hear that you want to keep track of. Like this morning, I was listening to a video by Think Media about, you know, growing your YouTube channel or whatever. And I do like to listen to things like that. I'm not too deep into it, but obviously if you want to be on YouTube, it behooves you to try to figure out what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right if you want to grow a channel. But anyway, he was talking to, I think his name was Dan Martell. It was a really good interview, and they were talking about being authentic. And one of the quotes that I really took away from that and want to keep track of is about when you're sharing your life story or hard things you've been through, like if you've been through addiction or abuse or just anything, health crisis, whatever. Learn to share, or I don't remember the exact wording, but it's, how did they put it? Share your scars, but not your open wounds. And, you know, I really stopped to think about that. There is a big difference. If you can't, and they talked about some different examples and different stories and stuff. So I'm just paraphrasing. I don't want to say the wrong things. But anyway, getting back to this, that's the type of thing that I will write in my quotation journals to keep track of. And that's why I love sitting down and going back through these. When you start a book like this, you don't have to have some amazing cohesive end result in mind. You can, if you want, like if you want to make a book just about mermaids, you can plan it from the start and buy special paper and know how you're going to bind it, and the cover can be really special, and that is wonderful. I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying on this junk journal journey, you don't have to have an end result in mind to make a junk journal. You can put something together, and I promise as you continue to add paint splatters and cut out images and glue into it and make pockets and put little keepsakes and labels from things, ephemera from going out to eat, as you write down quotes and thoughts and things that you don't want to lose track of, it's going to become so amazing. So this is one of my favorite types of journals to make. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this one or not, but this is where I am with my fun pack. I'm going to try to go ahead and use up some more of this stuff. I may even, like, here's some pages from where I was working on the zine. I may put some more images in this. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what I've done with mine. Kim, thank you so much for sharing this beautiful quilt piece, because that gives us something beautiful to work with. Love the fabrics in this. And I hope this was inspirational to help you get started. I'm going to go ahead and work on this a little longer, and who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do with this one, but thank you so much for watching. I will be back really soon, and bye for now.